Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Hello, my name is Rachel Richardson, and I get the privilege and honor of being the director of this group that's going to be performing today for you. It's called BooksAlive, and just wanted to give you a little bit of background on the group and to welcome our audience here today. Friends and family have come out for our end of the year recital, which is a tradition, and also welcome the group from upstairs. I'm so glad that you all could come down here and make it. We have some wonderful stories we're going to share with you today. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about the group. This is the 9th year of Readers Theater, and we have some wonderful alumni in the house who will be looking at us perform some stories that they might be familiar with. There are some of our most favorite stories, and we're so glad you're here to listen to them. This group rehearses twice a month throughout the school year, and they perform stories typically in the elementary schools. They perform youth stories that we have scripted in a way where it's choral storytelling. We have narrators and we have characters, and we bring the books to life. Hence, we call ourselves BooksAlive. We're always welcoming new members. If anyone would love to join the group, is interested in the group, by all means, please talk with us afterwards. We'd love to invite you to come and join in. It's very accessible, no memorization required, and it's a really fun time. Everyone gets together and has a really fun time. The first half of today's recital is going to feature 4 stories that we tour for the elementary schools and preschoolers in St. Louis Park. And then the second half, we'll be doing a couple of comedy skits for you. And it's just a fun way for these performers to kind of expand the kind of storytelling that they do and get to play a variety of roles for you. So I think that's a lot of fun too. Now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Deb, who will tell you a little bit about the stories.
Hi. Hi. I'm Deb Strand, and we have 2 stories written and illustrated by Arnold LaBelle, and I'll bet many of you are familiar with the 2 pals, Frog and Toad. In our 2 stories, Frog and Toad. Carol's Toad, Mark is Frog. So you'll probably be able to keep better track of them than I can. We have 2 stories. The first one is The Garden, and the second one is The Letter. So first we're going to take off with The Garden.
Frog was in his garden. Toad came walking by.
What a lovely garden you have, Frog.
Yes, it is nice, but it was hard work.
I wish I had a garden.
Here are some flower seeds. Plant them in the ground, and soon you will have a garden.
How soon?
Quite soon.
Okay.
Toad ran home. He planted the flower seeds.
Now seeds, start growing.
Toad walked up and down the rows a few times. The seeds did not grow. Toad put his head very close to the ground and shouted.
Now seeds, start growing.
Frog came running up the path.
What is all this noise?
My seeds will not grow.
You are shouting too much. These poor seeds are afraid to grow.
My seeds are afraid to grow?
Of course. Leave them alone for a few days. Let the sun shine on them. Let the rain fall on them. Soon your seeds will start to grow.
That night, Toad looked out his window.
Drat! My seeds have still not started to grow. They must be afraid of the dark.
Toad went out to his garden with some candles.
I will read my seeds a story, and then maybe they won't be afraid.
Toad read a long story to his seeds. All the next day, Toad sang songs to his seeds in the rain. And all the next day, Toad read poems to his seeds. And the next day, Toad played music for his seeds.
Toad looked at the ground. The seeds still did not start to grow.
What shall I do? These must be the most frightened seeds in the world.
Then Toad felt very tired and he fell asleep.
Toad! Toad, wake up! Look at your garden.
Toad looked at his garden. Little green plants were coming out of the ground.
At last my seeds are not afraid to grow.
And you will have a nice garden too.
Yes, but you were right about one thing. It was a lot of hard work.
The end. And now we have the letter.
Toad was sitting on his front porch. Frog came along.
What is the matter, Toad? You are looking sad.
Yes, this is my sad time of day. It is a time when I wait for the mail. It always makes me very sad
Why is that?
because I never get any mail.
Not ever?
Not ever. I have never gotten a letter, ever. Every day my mailbox is empty. That is why waiting for the mail is my sad time of day.
Frog and Toad sat on the porch, feeling sad together. Then Frog had an idea.
I have to go home now, Toad. There is something I must do.
Frog hurried home. He found a pencil and a piece of paper, and he wrote on the paper and put the paper in an envelope. On the envelope he wrote, "A letter for Toad."
Frog ran out of his house. He saw a snail he knew. He told the snail to take the letter to Toad's house right away and put it in his mailbox. Then Frog ran back to Toad's house. Toad was in bed taking a nap.
Toad! Toad, I think you should get up and wait for the mail some more.
I am tired of waiting for the mail.
Frog looked out of the window at Toad's mailbox. The snail was not there yet.
Toad, you never know when someone may send you a letter.
No, I don't think anyone will ever send me a letter.
Frog looked out the window. The snail was not there yet.
But Toad, someone may send you a letter today.
Don't be silly. No one has ever sent me a letter, and no one will send me a letter today.
Frog looked out of the window. The snail was still not there yet.
Frog, why do you keep looking out of the window?
Because now I am waiting for the mail.
But there will not be any mail.
Oh, yes, there will. Because I sent you a letter.
You have? What did the letter say?
Dear Toad, I am glad you are my best friend. Your best friend, Frog.
Oh, that makes a very nice letter.
Then Frog and Toad went out to the front porch to wait for the mail. They sat there feeling happy. Frog and Toad waited a long time. 4 days later, the snail went to Toad's house and gave them the letter from Frog. Toad was very pleased to have it.
The end. Our next story is called Flossie and the Fox. Flossie and the Fox, that this little boy knows by heart, is written by Patricia McKissick. And we've got our narrators on the end, and we have Flossie and Big Mama. And Flossie and Big Mama talk with an accent or a dialect.
And it's the rich, colorful dialect that was used in the South, that we hear people say. So here's Flossie and the Fox.
Flossie! Flossie!
The sound of Big Mama's voice floated past the cabins in Sophie's quarters, around the smokehouse, beyond the chicken coop, and all the way down to Flossie Finley.
Flossie tucked away her straw doll in a hollow log, then hurried to answer her grandmother's call.
Here I am, Big Mama.
Big Mama stopped sorting peaches and wiped her hands and face with her apron. It was hot, hotter than a usual Tennessee August day.
Now, Flossie, you take this bucket of fresh eggs to Miss Viola over at the McCutcheon place. Seems like they've been troubled with a fox. Miss Viola's chickens, they be so scared they can't even now lay a stone.
What? Why come Mr. J.W. can't catch the fox with his dogs?
Flossie asked, putting a peach in her apron pocket to eat later.
Every time they corner that old slickster, he gets away. I tell you, that fox is one sly critter.
Well, how do a fox look? I just remember ever seeing one.
Child, a fox be just a fox. Well, one thing for sure, that rascal loves eggs. He'll do most anything to get at some eggs.
Flossie tucked the basket under her arm and started on her way.
Don't tarry now, and be particular about them eggs.
Yes,
The way through the woods was shorter and cooler than the road route under the open sun.
What if I come upon a fox? Oh, well, a fox be just a fox. That ain't so scary.
Flossie commenced to skip along when she came upon a critter she couldn't recollect ever seeing. He was sitting side the road like he was expecting somebody. Flossie skipped right up to him and nodded a greeting the way she'd been taught to.
Top of the morning to you, little missy. And what is your name?
I am Flossie Finley. I reckon I don't know who you be neither.
Slowly, the animal circled around Flossie.
I am a fox.
He announced, all the time eyeing the basket of eggs. He stopped in front of Flossie, smiled as best a fox can, and bowed.
At your service.
Now Flossie rocked back on her heels, then up on her toes, back and forth, carefully studying the creature who was claiming to be a fox.
Nope, I just purely don't believe it.
You don't believe what?
I don't believe you're a fox, that's what.
Well, Fox's eyes flashed anger, and then he chuckled softly.
My dear child, of course I am a fox. A little girl like you should simply be terrified of me. Whatever do they teach children these days?
As Flossie tossed her head in the air and skipped away, she said,
Oh, well, whatever you are, you'll sure think a heap of yourself.
Fox looked shocked, and he called out,
Wait, you mean you're not frightened? Not just a little bit?
Well, I ain't never seen a fox before, so why should I be scared of you? And I don't even now know you a real fox for a fact.
Fox pulled himself tall. He cleared his throat.
Are you saying I must offer proof that I am a fox before you will be frightened of me?
That's just what I'm saying.
Little Flossie skipped on through the piney woods while the fox fellow rushed away, looking for whatever he needed to prove he was who he said he was.
Meanwhile, Flossie stopped to rest beside a tree. Suddenly, Fox was beside her.
I have proof. See, I have thick, luxurious fur. Feel for yourself.
Feels like rabbit fur to me.
Oh.
Shucks! You ain't no fox. You a rabbit all the time trying to fool me.
Me? Me, a rabbit. What do you think of that? I'll have you know my reputation precedes me. I am the third generation of foxes who have outsmarted and outrun Mr. J.W. McCutcheon's fine hunting dogs. I have raided some of the best hen houses from Franklin to Madison. Rabbit, indeed. I am a fox, and you will act accordingly.
Flossie hopped to her feet. She put her free hand on her hip and patted her foot.
Unless you can show you a fox, I'll accord you nothing.
Well, without further ceremony, she skipped away. Down the road a piece, Flossie stopped by a bubbly spring. She knelt to get a drink of water. Fox came up to her and said,
I have a long pointed nose, see? Now that should be proof enough.
Don't prove a thing to me. Come to think of it, rats got long pointed noses. That's it. You a rat all the time trying to pass yourself off as a fox.
That near about took Fox's breath away.
I beg your pardon.
You can beg all you want of that, it'll still don't make you no fox.
well, Flossie skipped on down the road.
I'll teach you a thing or two, young lady. You just wait and see.
Before long, Flossie came to a clearing, and a large orange tabby cat was sunning on a tree stump.
Hi, pretty kitty.
The fox slipped from behind a clump of bushes.
Since you won't believe me when I tell you I am a fox, perhaps you will believe that fine feline creature toward whom you seem to have some measure of respect.
Flossie looked at the cat and winked her eye.
He sure used a heap of words.
Fox beckoned for Cat to speak up. Cat jumped to a nearby log and yawned and stretched.
Now this is a fox because he has sharp claws and yellow eyes.
Now Fox seemed satisfied, but Flossie looked at the cat. She looked at Fox, then once more at both, just to be sure.
Well, all due respect, Miss Cat, but both y'all got sharp claws and yellow eyes, so that don't prove nothing. Except both of y'all be cats.
Well, Fox went to howling and running around in circles. He was plumb beside himself.
I am a fox, and I know it. This is absurd.
No need to use that kind of language.
And Flossie skipped away.
Oh, wait. I just remembered something. It may be the solution to this horrible situation.
Oh, good. It's about time.
I have a bushy tail. That's right. All foxes have fluffy, bushy tails. That has got to be adequate proof.
Ain't gotta be. You got a bushy tail? Squirrels got bushy tails.
No. If I promise you I'm a fox, won't that do?
Flossie shook her head. No.
Oh, woe is me. I may never recover my confidence.
That's just what I've been saying. You're just an old confidencer coming telling me you was a fox and then can't prove it. Shame on you.
Oh,
Long about that time, Flossie and the fox came out of the woods. Flossie cupped her hands over her eyes and caught sight of McCutcheon quarters and Miss Viola's cabin. Fox didn't notice a thing. He just followed behind Flossie, begging to be believed.
give me one last chance.
Okay, but just this once more.
Fox tried not to whimper, but his voice was real unsteady like.
I have sharp teeth. And I can run exceedingly fast.
Slowly, Flossie rocked from heel to toe, back and forward.
You know, it don't make much difference what I think anymore.
Why?
Because there's one of Mr. J.W. McCutcheon's hounds behind you. He's got sharp teeth and runs fast, too. And by the way that hound's looking at you, it's all over for you.
That hound knows who I am, but I'm not worried. 'Cause I sure can outsmart and outrun one of Mr. J.W. McCutcheon's hounds any old time of the day. Because, like I told you, I am a fox!
I know. I know.
She turned toward Miss Viola's with the basket of eggs safely tucked under her arm.
The end. Our last children's story is a takeoff on the Three Little Pigs. But it's not just the regular story, it's the true story. It's told from the point of view of the wolf. Here we go. We have three narrators and sometimes a policeman, and we have the wolf.
Now everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has heard my side of the story.
Name?
I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf, but you can call me Al. Now, I don't know how all this big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong.
I see, and what makes you so sure?
Well, maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault that we eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are.
Can we stick to the story, please?
Now, if cheeseburgers were cute, you would probably think you were big and bad too, but like I was saying, this whole big bad wolf thing is wrong. The real story's about a sneeze and a cup of sugar.
Way back in Once Upon a Time, a wolf was making a birthday cake for his dear, sweet granny.
You see, I had a terrible sneezing cold.
And he ran out of sugar.
So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar.
Now this neighbor was a pig.
And he wasn't too bright neither.
He had built his whole house out of straw.
I mean, can you believe it? Who's going to build a house out of straw?
So, of course, the minute he knocked on the door, it fell right in. He claimed he didn't want to just walk into someone else's house.
So I called out, little pig, little pig, little pig. I get in.
No answer.
He was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for his dear old granny's birthday cake.
Well, that's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. So I huffed and I snuffed. Achoo! And I sneezed a great sneeze.
The whole darn straw house fell down. Oh, and right in the middle of the straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail.
You see, he'd been home the whole time.
It seemed a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw.
Yeah, so I ate it up. Think of it like a big cheeseburger just lying there.
He was feeling a little better.
But I still didn't have that cup of sugar.
So he went to the next door neighbor's house.
This neighbor was the first little pig's brother.
And he was a little smarter, but not much.
He had built his house out of sticks.
So I rang the bell on the stick house.
Nobody answered.
And Mr. Pig said, "Go away, Wolf! You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin."
He had just grabbed the doorknob when he felt another sneeze coming on.
Well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, achoo! And I sneezed another great sneeze.
You're not going to believe it, But this guy's house fell down just like his brother's.
And when the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Now, wolf's on, I'm telling you.
And now you know that food left out will spoil.
Yeah, so I did the only thing there was to do.
He had dinner again.
Yeah, well, think of it like a second helping.
He was getting awfully full.
But his cold was feeling a little
But
better.
I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake.
So he went to the next house.
And this guy was the first and second pig's brother.
He must have been the brains of the
He
family.
had built his house out of bricks.
So I knocked on the door of the brick house.
No answer.
And I called out Mr. Pig. And you know what that rude little porker said?
He said, "Get out of here! Wolf, don't bother me again!"
Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack of sugar in there too.
And he wouldn't give him 1 cup for his dear little old granny's cake.
What a pig.
Now he was just about to go home and maybe make a card instead of a birthday cake when he felt his cold coming on again.
Whoa. I huffed and I snuffed. And I Achoo! And I sneezed once again.
And then the third little pig yelled,
And your granny can sit on a pin.
Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fella, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, well, I go a little crazy.
When I drove up, of course, he was trying to get break down this pig's door. And the whole time he was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
2 reporters found out about the 2 pigs that he had for dinner, and they figured that a sick guy going to get sugar for his granny's cake didn't sound too exciting.
So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff stuff and blow your house down stuff, and they made me the big bad wolf.
That's it. That's the real story. He was framed.
So maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar?
That's an example of what this group does out in the field. I wanted to let you know that this group is also available for performances. If you have an engagement that you think this group might be a good fit for, they do children's stories for sure, but you'll see in our Act 2 some of the variety of work that they do that might be appropriate for an adult event. So
Weddings,
consider
bar
that.
mitzvahs?
Yeah, so they're available. They do it all. And they love to perform, and they're all excellent performers, as you can see. They all have some fun stories of when they go out into the field and interact with the younger people. As you can see, they have to think on the spot, and they get related questions, not related questions, and they're educators, all of them, when they're out in the field, and they're helping the children learn and be respectful audience members, and engaged in reading too is the primary fun part of it for them.